Judge gives final verdict in Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard trial. On Friday, May 27th, we heard the legal teams of both parties deliver their closing arguments. And with that being said, the defamation trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard came to an end. All that's left to do now is for the jury to return a verdict. At stake is reputation of both actors, as well as $50 million for Depp and $100 million for Heard. The jury finds that Heard did defame Depp and that she could be ordered to pay the full $50 million that he has sued her for. It is possible, however, that the jury could find in Depp's favor but close to an award higher or lower the amount. It is important to note that although the case is being heard in court, there is no criminal charges that are being or can be brought against either person. This is due to the case being a civil dispute and not a criminal one, but instead is classed as a civil trial. This means that neither party is subjected to criminal charges. There can be no criminal convictions arising from the outcome of this trial. Compared to criminal cases, civil suits have a lower burden of evidence for proving the accusation. For example, in a criminal case, it must be proved beyond unreasonable doubt that the accused intended to kill a specific person. However, a civil case, the jury must decide which person is correct in all likelihood. This can give strange outcomes, like in the O.J. Simpson case, where the former NFL star was acquitted of murder in the criminal case but ordered to pay millions in damages in the civil case. When will we know who has won the case? On Thursday, May 26, both sides rested their case as the final evidence and testimonies were put in front of the jury. It is not known how long it will take for the jury to make their decision, potentially just a few hours, but given the volume of evidence, experts suggest that it might be a few days. Under normal circumstances, the jury would have returned on Monday to deliberate, but as stated above, with memorial celebrations taking precedence, Tuesday will see them back to get into discussions. It is likely there will be an outcome by the end of the week. Civil court cases, also known as a lawsuit, are primarily about damages, and Depp is demanding a fairly substantial payment for what he believes was misrepresentation of their relationship. In the court filing, his team has requested compensation damages of no less than $50 million. If they decide in his favor, the jurors could order her to pay the amount requested, or could recommend that a larger or smaller compensation be paid. One thing that's certainly not on the horizon for either party is the threat of a criminal record or prison time. The case is being heard in the civil, not the criminal court, meaning that there is no possibility of any punishment beyond the compensation. However, that doesn't mean that the dispute between the former lovers is settled as soon as the jury returns its verdict. The Depp-Heard trial has generated huge amounts of interest in the recent weeks, with two major celebrities battling it out in the courts. Depp sued for defamation, requesting for $50 million in compensation, only to be countersued by Heard for $100 million. During the course of the trial, the two lead attorneys have been in the spotlight, and this is the most high-profile case of Ben Rottenborn's career to date. He joined Wood Rogers, a Virginia-based law firm where he's currently employed as principal attorney, in 2012 and specialized in complex civil litigation matters. His biography on the firm's website says that he has extensive experience with cases involving the following: issues in fiduciary duty, general commercial law, private equity/venture capital, securities, intellectual property, and products liability. The defamation trial between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard were both mutually blamed on the other for causing the loss of work in Hollywood. The witness testimony over the course of the proceedings painted a less than pretty picture of either actor, which could result in hurdles for future employment in Hollywood productions. Despite a pressure campaign by Depp fans to have Heard cut from the film, she will play Mera in the upcoming sequel to Aquaman, set for release in March of 2023. During testimony at the defamation trial, Walter Hamada, president of DC-based film production, confirmed that the actress was still in Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom. The identity of the people who will hand down a verdict on the defamation claims won't be made public for a year. However, Court TV has published a demographic makeup of the individuals in the jury box. The group of 7 people is composed of 5 men and 2 women, with another man and woman serving as alternates. According to observations of the jurors, they range in age from people in their 20s to a person in his 60s of varying ethnicities. During jury selection, a few expressed any prior knowledge of problematic relationships between the two actors. More than 4 million people have signed an online petition to remove Amber Heard from the Aquaman 2 movie on the basis that she's been exposed as a domestic abuser. According to the petition's author at least, the Change.org petition is directed to Studio DC, Warner Brothers, and DC Entertainment. Even at this stage, there is still so much uncertainty. Who will the jury rule in favor of? What happens if Depp wins? What happens if Heard wins? And what is the prospect of an appeal or countersuit after the verdict is returned? The legal team representing Johnny Depp filed a motion to strike part of Amber Heard's lawyer's closing arguments from the record, meaning that it would not be considered by the jurors currently deliberating. The passage in question saw Heard ask jurors to consider the message that ruling for Depp would send to other domestic violence victims. Depp's lawyers described it as an inappropriate argument in a filing in Fairfax County District Court on Tuesday, and asked for a judge to instruct the jury to disregard it and revise the special verdict form. There was also some action in Fairfax County Court as the jurors asked Judge Penny Escarty a question about Amber Heard's Washington Post op-ed. Their question related to finding Instruction C, which covers the headline of the article whether the statement was false. "I spoke up against violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change." Essentially, the jurors wanted to know whether the entire op-ed must be considered false if the headline was deemed to be false. Judge Escarte told them that that's not the case. The instruction focuses only on the headline. Law and Crime Network's Anjanette Levy believes that the Depp vs. Heard jury could be here all week, as its deliberations continue at Fairfax County Court in Virginia. "I think you have to keep in mind this is a 6-week trial," Levy said on Tuesday, "and there's a lot of jury instructions for them to consider. For the most part, jurors take their duty very seriously. They likely go through everything and they want to be fair. Maybe we could be here all week, we just don't know." Then again, some commentators think that we could have the verdict in the coming hours. During the Depp vs. Heard trial, Amanda testifies that Warner Brothers considered recasting the role of Mera due to the lack of chemistry with Jason Momoa, who plays Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman. However, both the director James Wan and Momoa came to her defense and were adamant that she was in the film, according to entertainment consultant Catherine Arnold. Peter Safran told Deadline last year when asked about the pressure campaign by Depp fans on social media to have Heard removed from the Aquaman sequel, he responded, "One is not unaware of what is going on in the Twitterverse, but that doesn't mean that you have to react to it or take it as gospel and accede to their wishes." The dirty laundry being aired so publicly in the 6-week defamation trial, the live stream for which has attracted millions of viewers, has shown two highly dysfunctional people whether the mutual claims that their career prospects were damaged by the fallout from their mutually relationship. The trial will have some in Hollywood recoiling for the time being. Film studios might be hesitant at first to engage with either actor, but the current toxicity of the two actors could likely fade with time. When you air your dirty laundry in front of the machine of executives, all the people that make parts move, they sort of recoil from a hot flame, Daryl Marsick, an entertainment agent, told CNN. Industry experts consulted by CNN say that Depp may come out in this fiasco bolstered within Hollywood, having showed that he has a strong fan base. Heard, on the other hand, less well known, having gotten the first major break in the industry playing Mera in the first installment of Aquaman released in 2018, which makes her future in Hollywood most certainly unknown. Depp sued his ex-wife for $50 million, blaming a 2018 op-ed she wrote as the reason for his Jack Sparrow character being dropped from Pirates of the Caribbean. She countersued for $100 million, claiming her career was put on ice because of accusation made by an attorney for Depp that she was lying about the domestic claims, which was followed by a concerted smear campaign on social media. And that's where the situation will wait for now. As we await the judge's verdict, take a moment to like the video if you enjoyed, and also subscribe and turn on those post notifications to stay up to date every time we drop a new exciting video. Thanks.